I'd like to call a meeting to order. Will you stand for pledge of allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I look for a motion to approve today's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve today's agenda.
I second it.
The only thing I have is maybe we should move 11 down to the end of the meeting. If we're gonna have a possibility of a closed session. That way we don't have to, I mean, we'll have to come back to the regular meeting, but.
Yep.
So we'll move that to the bottom. Do we have, lawyers and people coming?
Adam.
Okay. Okay. With that, I'd look for a motion to approve agenda. Or do we have one? We have.
Yeah.
Like second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Minutes for September 23rd.
You can probably share that.
Yeah, been pretty good. My packet to sign for the previous meeting. We usually have a manila covered. It's not in there. I had a copy of this one. Which is, I always get a copy of that, but I didn't have that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I can swing over and sign that. I look for a motion to approve the minutes for September 23rd.
So moved. I'll second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Claims for October 7th, I handed them down the other way. Any discussion or motion to approve?
Motion to approve claims for $445,897.52.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Meetings attended, Scott?
I didn't have anything last week.
I went to DOT. Did you go?
No, I didn't. I didn't go.
I had a PEO meeting for the Mississippi Valley Workforce. Working on the merger, completing the merger between our current region and South Central, which includes like a town like Marshalltown and that area over there. And so having to adjust language to include the whole thing and elect board members for the joint, moving through all that legal work to get it done.
Lots of things changing within the states.
Basically, there's not sufficient funding to establish a full board in two places, so they have to merge together. And then I did go up to the DOT meeting last week and was happy to learn that they're gonna keep traffic flowing on Old 61 after they connect to the 5 mile lane, so it's not the only corridor carrying north-south traffic through our area. So other than that,
I will have to say, it's a little difficult to get out on Highway 61 about 3 o'clock every day. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
yeah,
Happy to report that the LP tank is painted. That's done. So, any idea on our valves? Because we're gonna be needing that LP tank.
Well, he, last I talked to him, he said first or second week of October, so we're kind of there.
Good, you follow up and got a chance.
Yeah.
I'm worried that they're gonna need that LP for heat, and then we're gonna try and replace the valve, so.
Well, I figured we're gonna have to hook up a portable anyway for because there's one water heater that runs off LP and then the cook stove. I don't know, is there anything else, Brandon? I mean, I already talked to him about, they're gonna need to hook a portable up anyway, so.
Well, you be a good excuse to call him and tell him, hey, the tank's all painted and ready for you. Wink, wink. I was also at the Highway 61, meeting. I don't know that there was much of a change, looked like it's kind of what we've been talking about for the last, feels like decade, so. I'm tired of
Positive
talking about it.
improvements, though.
I wish they'd hurry up and get something going, I'm tired of talking about it. I did talk to, and it's a little farther down on our agenda. Michelle. I'm not gonna try to pronounce the last name, Louisa. Apparently the state is no longer subsidizing, detox services. I'm glad Brandon's here, and I've talked to him about it a little bit. The state isn't doing it anymore, they're throwing it on the backs of the counties, we'll talk about this a little later. But she said we had 2 people in as of from July 1st till now. Do those people get identified by the sheriff's department, or how do?
No, somebody would come in and work with them afterwards, like CIT. Or maybe even during court services.
Oh, did they get,
But I mean, we have
Identify.
taken people to the hospital where they may detox. We don't fully know that information, I guess.
okay. Well, we'll talk about this one a little farther down, but they're looking for money from us, of course, to fund that, so, since the state doesn't want to do that. I also talked to Meredith with the DOT. Guess at the last meeting, it was reported that they hadn't really done anything. I think most of you also got that copy of that email. She's kind of outlined this out that they've done what I would consider a fair amount of information and training. I guess I need to know where we're at. If I'm hearing kind of 2 different things.
I think we're going to have a report from Sheridan well, because from what talk I've done in there, not all the stuff that she claims has been done on that list has been done.
Okay,
So I think we need to.
well, why don't we put that on the next agenda, and then we'll have Beth attend and we can sit down and kind of talk about these. But I'd like to respond to her
Right.
and air it out, and I don't wanna do it without people present, so.
That was about the driver's license.
Driver's license.
Okay, you said DOT. and I
Yeah, I'm
didn't know.
sorry, yeah.
That's about the driver's license. Yeah. And I know she has communicated with them since that,
Okay.
so. she should have some
We'll get it on the next
information.
agenda, and maybe we can even get Meredith to zoom in. We can all get hammered out, so.
I'm saying that politics.
Other than that, I think that is it for me. Any public input?
I may have some.
Payroll changes, I think I sent some of those that direction, or did I? Oops, they're on.
No, I think.
Differentials and, board resignation. Yeah.
I think it's the sound that you know.
Adam, while they're looking at the payroll changes, you got any updates for us?
Yep, since our last meeting, there's been a lot of work done up on D28. We asphalted that, put about 5 inches of asphalt over most of the road. A couple places got just 7 inches because of bad base. Asphalt work is all done. They are shoulder rocking starting yesterday. We'll do today and tomorrow. Probably paint striping up there Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the weather and getting things done. So the project should be done here soon. Already have traffic on it. Speeds are enjoying the nice smooth road, so speeds are a little fast up there. So we're to get that done. That'll be our last construction project for the year. We do have a bid letting for that K Road Bridge on, I believe, on the 21st or 28th. I'm not sure. So that will happen. Maintenance guys are finishing up our concrete patching work for the year. They're out by the power plant now. Got 2 more to do. So we'll be done with that. After that, we've got some pipes to do and some ditching and some kind of, catch up things of, you know, well, since we've been busy on patching the last month or so, some things to catch up and get back into hauling rock. First week of November, we're gonna haul our sand and salt and get that packed away into the shed, so.
Shed up and
Yep, up and running. We're using it to store some equipment now, and then once you get that done, it'll get full of sand in the fall. Because we're hopefully months away, but maybe weeks away from, something happening, so always had to be prepared, I guess, so. Other than that, been mowing and blading and all those kind of things as well, so. Any questions for me or anything popping up you guys are seeing?
I think so.
don't be yelling too loud.
Yep, I had that DOT meeting last week, and again, it's the, what we have is the, result of years of work, right? To get it from where it is to, or where it was to where it is, so. Anyway, I have reached out, and as they begin their design process, there's some questions that we have, and just like the remaining tough with them over this process, so. That's it. I've got one of the guys at the Highway 92 meeting now, so should have an update on that this afternoon or so.
Thank you.
You said that.
Item number 9 is concrete work at the complex. There's 2 steel bullets, if you want to go ahead and open those. We can, this is a sidewalk behind the kitchen area, and it's all kind of like sunk in and bucked in. It looks like it might be kind of hollow under.
Yeah, so when they did the solar project, they found maybe some type of manhole underneath there. So it's a liability for people coming out there to vote, people going to public health, people coming on probation, people walking around. But it continues to get worse.
I think it was just limited to that main set minor area.
Yeah, there's one spot by the kitchen, then there's another spot going around the corner. And then that does include, where where they worked on and put rock there, but it's just water. It is to include that, to square that off, to make a parking space as well.
Yeah, 2 separate bids there.
So I'm assuming we need to add those 2 together.
Now, let's see the other guy, that's. They got square footages, so.
Looks like we have a bid from Columbus Concrete for a total of $4,104. A bid from the Gulf for $5,645.
Does the square footage kind of match up?
Calculator.
No, I don't really have square footage.
This one doesn't have any square footage on it. They both say 4-inch thick, and this one's got a 3x2 pad that'll be 5 inches. 20 foot by 9'6" is 5 inches.
And entertain some sort of a motion if you want to put concrete out there. It does need it. This will come out of either the complex budget or B, 1% loss.
So is these advertised? Cause I don't remember discussing this.
Good question. Well, technically, they're under the threshold. We really didn't even need to, but
Okay.
I try to keep it if we can. But you're right, we could have advertised it. Brandon handled most of this, or it was kind of, Brandon was kind of the one spearheading it. And I told him to go get prices and see where it was at.
Well, between these two bids, I guess I would go with Columbus Concrete,
Yeah.
so.
Is that a motion?
Sure, that's a motion to accept the bid of 4104 from Columbus Concrete for concrete repair and replacement of concrete.
I'll second.
Gotcha. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. You wanna make that call?
Yep, nothing, whatever.
So we're clear on the direction we're going.
Yep.
Item number 10 is discussion to appoint a representative to the Eastern Iowa Disability Alliance. I think we talked about that the last meeting. They're asking for someone to be on that. Board, well, a representative from each county. Another board do we get to sit on? Yay!
I can take it unless there's somebody want.
Well, boy, I'd put you on that in a second. Okay, well, it'd be till the end of the year and then we all break up the boards and do everything over, so.
Kind of sound like they only meet bi-monthly and.
Yeah. I guess, Scott, you wanna make some sort of a motion to put him on that
Well, I'll
board?
make a motion to put Kevin on the Eastern Iowa Disability Alliance Board.
I will second that. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Adam, we're gonna move the closed session down to the bottom.
Yep.
Okay, we'll skip to number 12. Talk to, Michelle. I got email from her, talked to her,
And Kayla.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll just brief you and then if she wants to jump in, she can. Apparently, July 1st of 2025 this year, the state had a realignment of the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services. Behavioral health services statewide plan was no longer included. Funding for the ASTM level 3.7. Medically monitored invasive inpatient program or detox program. So that basically means the state's not paying for it anymore. So they're coming to the counties and asking the counties to make up that difference. So according to her email, it basically says, for people that aren't able to pay, that don't have the resources for detox services, the pricing is set as $550 for, that's the daily rate. To date, they had 2 Louisa County residents presented to that program. I asked Brandon, I think it was before you came in here, maybe you were here, how those people are identified. And he kind of indicated either through the court or through their department. I don't know how other areas they would be entered into this program. You just don't randomly walk down the street and.
No, I
drag 'em
mean,
in there.
we have services, medical services out there and they'll help them during their detox, but. I mean, if they're sitting in jail, they're detoxing from drugs when we arrest them. So, I mean, most of them are. So saying that 2, I'm not sure. Not sure who those people are or how they are identified. Like I said, CIT and I can't think of his name right now from Burlington comes in and talks with these people. To get mental health care and substance abuse care, and then they move on to other services, but I can't tell you how or I haven't seen the paperwork to say they need to go through detox, and maybe Adam can elaborate, but I don't.
Kayla, are you on the, can you,
Yes.
so
I can provide a little more information. So
please.
since this change, July 1st, we have been tracking how many people we have had to turn away. And that would be folks primarily that don't have insurance, or if they have just the, excuse me, just the wellness version of Medicaid, they don't have full Medicaid, then they don't have any insurance coverage that would pay for this level of care. This is a short, maybe 3 to 5 day stay, typically for people that are withdrawing from alcohol, opioids, benzodiazepines, to get some medication for their symptoms and get through those really hard few days of initially getting sober. So we had just been keeping track. When people reach out, we screen based on their use over the phone. We have a nurse screen whether or not they would be appropriate for the program. But then if they don't have the payer source, we've been keeping track of what county they're from, so that this way we could sort of do this reaching out and see if we can work together to provide the service for people. So since July 1, we've had 2 people call. They've screened that we would have accepted them in the program. They could not pay the daily rate out of pocket. And they did tell us that they were from Louisa County. Now that's just them telling us. We don't have a process of verification.
So, using your daily rate of $5.50 and using from what you said from 3 to 5 days, that's a charge of each person anywhere from $16.50 to $27.50. So do you have any background previous years on how many people would attend out of our county per year?
So what I have from the previous year, we did have 4 clients from Louisa County. However, they all had insurance.
Okay.
So that's the norm. I mean, most people that reach out we take all insurances. So it's really just those uninsured folks that are needing the assistance.
How many do you see that are court committals?
Court committals we are taking regardless
Okay.
of not having insurance.
Right.
So I don't know that I don't believe, since I've been here 2022, I don't think we've had any Louisa County court committals, but we do take them from other counties outside of Johnson County if they reach out and work with us on that.
I'm trying to, from a financial standpoint, I'm trying to figure out how we keep a handle on, 1 or 2 a year is definitely not a big deal, but if we went to 10 or 12, that could be a problem. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that and still keep a
Yeah, so I think there were 2 options that we had suggested for contracts. One of them is fee for service, which is kind of what we're talking about right now. If we, reached out to you for each person that met this criteria. But then another one is to set a maximum and draw that down. So that could be something you could think about, what the maximum that you would be able to provide for people.
So, we do have the opioid settlement. I think we just approved Brennan, I don't know, 30-some thousand or something. I just asked Susan before the meeting, we have a current balance of $76,000 in there. The opioid funds can be used for this. Probably isn't a bad thing to use it for. I don't know.
Well, I would like,
You gotta talk about it.
yeah, we want to talk about it, but I would be much more in favor of setting this is the maximum per year we can spend on that, and then we draw from that if we need it, we don't need,
I agree with that.
Is this,
I don't want to leave it open-ended, but
I
we're just gonna,
Right.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but some of the services, they help people actually apply for state medical coverage. You're supposed to have insurance, obviously, from several years ago. And I think,
Correct. That's
But-
one of the first things we do is
Okay.
we do have people apply for Medicaid as soon as they're settled in the bed. Yeah.
isn't it then backdated to the time that it happened? Even though they're applying for it, it may not be accepted for a few days. I'm just trying to understand where
It can happen. It doesn't always backdate the coverage to cover that detox day. If it did, we would certainly refund. Like if the person were to pay private pay out of their pocket, we would certainly refund them if they ended up getting back coverage, but it doesn't always work out that way. Unfortunately.
You did a worst case scenario of two people, I'd say that's worst case. Two people, 5-day stay would be $5,500. We could start with that and see how that worked out.
So
Just
is it,
throwing things out. I mean, you know.
so is this inpatient where they stay the entire time or?
It is, and it's much more likely to be a 2 to 3 day stay. I mean, 5 days is for people that are really having some serious complications from withdrawal. But other benefits to it are that we complete their substance use evaluation and we get them either a residential bed as their next level of care, or we get them an appointment for outpatient. So they leave with all of that set up. Whereas if they're going to a hospital, they're not getting that. They're getting the medical care, but not the next level for substance use treatment.
and understand that people would have to be fully released from custody from jail. I don't think they have you don't have any type of security services to any type of.
Correct. There's no locked door situation there. I mean, we do take committals, and if they leave, we just have to notify law enforcement that they left.
Okay.
And then they bring them back.
So the two that you had that were rejected, were those just voluntary walk-ins then?
Correct. It was people who had called to see if they could come in for the service.
And what substances typically are they detoxing from?
It would be largely primarily alcohol, but also opioids, benzodiazepines, sometimes methamphetamine, especially if they've been using IV. And also because the methamphetamine tends to be laced with other drugs as well. That can complicate the withdrawal, but the ones that really need the medical oversight are the alcohol, benzodiazepines, and opioids.
What medications do you provide?
We have standing orders from our medical director for each substance and depending on the person's symptoms. And then this would all be, of course, up to the person as well to decide if they're going to take medication. And typically they want to. That's why they want to come. So for alcohol, we would typically give Librium. For opioids, we would typically give Suboxone and then also try to connect them with the medication assisted treatment clinic to continue taking the Suboxone. And then for benzodiazepines, it's a taper off of benzodiazepines to safely stop taking them.
What percentage of people go through the program and then reoffend and they're back?
I don't have that data right now. We actually are going to start collecting our data for the whole GuideLink Access Center in a different way that I think will allow us to see how frequently the same people are coming back. But right now, I have de-identified data, so I can't exactly track how often the same people have returned. I can't easily do that. But I think for the next year, we will have a clearer picture of that, as well as how many people are coming in and taking advantage, not just of the substance use services that CFR provides, but maybe also the mental health services that are available in the Access Center too, through the Abbey Mental Health Group. I think we'd like to see how many people are touching multiple programs in one visit, because obviously that's hopefully more beneficial to them not coming back.
So the closest facility to us is Iowa City, is that correct?
I believe so. So ads down in your area would not have a 3.7 program. There's not many. I think there's only, three or so in the state, and CFR has two of them. So.
Do you see many folks coming in that are drug seeking? How do you screen them out since, there's an opioid in the medication that you get for opioid addiction?
Sure. So it's an opioid agonist. So it's a bit different than, Suboxone. Yes, it can be abused, but they don't leave taking it with them for one thing. They get it while they're there. But, one indicator would sometimes be people do sometimes come in and, maybe get a dose of medication and then they want to leave. They don't want to stay. And so then there's a certain amount of time that will tell them they can't come back if they are to leave against medical advice.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem putting, a cap on it or something.
Or you trying it and reviewing it later and see.
Yeah, the contract that we have, that just the template that we have anyway, that is a maximum amount contract. It says in there that we would review it at the midpoint, to see if that funding seems sufficient, or kind of how we're doing as far as projecting the amount that we would spend on the Louisa County folks.
You wanna try what I suggested, $5,500 to see what happens? I'm just throwing
good
something
with
at
that.
Then just start.
you. Try.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We can always review it. I mean, this is all new, so, where are we at? Is too much, is not enough, we can just tell them no,
does this need to be made into a resolution and passed?
So she probably have a contract, I'm guessing, right?
Yes, so I believe we sent two different types of contracts. One being the drawdown from a maximum, kind of like you guys are discussing right now, and then one being a fee for service.
Okay, I'm not sure that I received that part, but,
Okay,
It's on the bottom, but yeah,
yeah,
we never received it.
so I tell you.
okay, well, I could certainly send those. I'm sorry, I'm jumping in here.
No, that's okay.
I can certainly send those, and then you can look at them and,
Yeah. Why don't you insert the amount of $5,500 and then send the contract over? And then we'll put it on our next agenda and we'll bring it up for voting and discussion.
okay. Thank you. Any other questions that I could be helpful with at this time?
No, but I'm sure down the road, we're gonna have questions.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kayla.
I,
Okay, so that'll be all on our next agenda, hopefully. 13 is Sheriff's Quarterly Report. $9,168. That's for a motion for approval.
I'll make the motion.
Oh, it's just for review?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay. Been reviewed. Thank you.
You do a good job, Sheriff. Thanks.
That's all I have, except for the item we moved to the bottom, and I guess we'll go ahead and talk about that right now. Discussion, of offer to purchase an interest in county real estate, possible closed session under Iowa section 21.5. Adam? That's what you're here for.
Yeah, so we have an offer. I think it was forwarded to you folks. So I guess the first decision is whether you want to go into closed session to discuss that, or whether you want to stay in open session.
Is there mine on here? Oh,
Yeah, it's in the,
Oh, yeah, it is.
first page of the letter. I'm not, I think she just included the previous court building as a background. So there's nothing about offering it. It's just a two-page letter. Really.
I don't particularly care about going into closed session, but if I had a recommendation from someone to do that, then we'll do that, but.
What's your recommendation? Is it?
It doesn't matter to me. It's the board's decision as they want to do this. And the purpose of the ability to go into closed session for this is so that there is not an increase or decrease in the value of property or perceived value of the property that the county is buying or selling. And so if the board isn't concerned about that, or if they want to stay in open session anyway, then that's fine. If they are concerned about it, and want to go into closed session, that's fine too.
I got in on this about halfway through it, or maybe towards the end. You guys probably don't quite know what's going on here. You want to give them a brief synopsis of where we're at here and how we got here. This has been over the last decade.
Sure. So I think we did, my recollection is we did go into closed session about another piece of property related to this, but that has not been completed. There's been no decision made. If you want me to go into that far background, I can, or if you just want me to stick with this.
Just stick with this.
Okay.
for now.
So, you're all aware of the Pokemiller Schultz, Timmerman litigation. We have an offer from, it would be the attorney for Pokemiller and Schultz to buy whatever interest the county has in, is it Spring Street, Adam?
Yes.
Spring Street, which runs across JEB Farms from H22 to Elric.
Yeah, old Elric City.
Yeah.
Not Elric Junction, Elric.
Elric, yeah.
There is a difference.
So the background related to that is we currently maintain that road. We have maintained it for decades.
For decades.
However, there is no indication that any of us can find in a plat, or otherwise, that the county actually owns that or has an easement to it. Any easement at this point would probably be prescriptive. There was a Spring Street platted, but it is, I don't know,
Probably
to the east.
150 feet east of where the physical Spring Street is now.
Right, so where it is now, where we're maintaining is not, what was platted as Spring Street. What was platted as Spring Street, we exercise no control over. It's, farm field. So our title to, Spring Street as it exists now is somewhat murky. So it would be the folks seeking the easement across that area, and they already have one easement in that area. They're seeking a second. That case is set for trial. Are offering to pay the county for whatever interest we do have in that. We essentially just quit claim whatever interest we have in that road to them. But then we back, is it on the tax rolls now? I assume it's not.
I do not believe it is on the tax roll, so.
So it'd be back on the tax rolls, if we dispose of it to any private landowner, and the county would be up for a small amount of money that they're offering to buy it. County's, options are say no, make a counter offer, or accept.
And so the amount that's shown here, basically, that would buy the road and everybody be happy.
Well, I don't know about the second part.
No.
There's no scenario I can see by which anybody
Who's ever happy?
It's not a scenario where everybody's happy.
So is that road is Timmerman's access to his house, isn't it?
It is, that's correct.
So I don't know how we can sell a road to somebody else privately when that's somebody else's access to their home.
Well, yeah, Mr. Timmerman would, I mean, he would probably have a prescriptive easement, but he would have to go to court to enforce that if they blocked him. If we have any interest in it at all.
Well, that's
Maybe JB Farms property right now, it's unclear, so. And I guess that's the other question is, do we want to assert control over it? Does the county want to enforce our rights to it as a by prescription, or do we want to say, you know what? We don't want to maintain it anymore, let's just let it go to JEB Farms. So,
Yeah, I could find no record of where we accepted it or incorporated it into our what is it, roster of roads, whatever.
Yeah.
But we have maintained it for years. Back in 2000, there was a utility ran back to the property there and this board, said that we do control that access, so it's kind of probably somewhere along the line, somebody didn't, do it right, but we've been maintaining it for years and while I would like to abandon it, it would make everybody's lives a lot easier. We also have a problem that there is a property back there, so. I don't know. It would be nicer if everybody got along a little bit better, but that's life.
What happens if we go ahead and pay them out and we do that?
if we accept the money,
Mhm.
well, we wouldn't be able to do that today. We would have to, because it's an interest in real estate or potential interest in real estate. I would suggest we follow the disposal of real estate node, which is that we would have a public hearing. We would, hear from the public, that we can then make a decision after that as far as.
Looking at the columns, if we go ahead and accept, what's the aftermath?
To the county?
Yeah.
Nothing as far as I can see.
Do we get sued though?
Well, I was gonna say, how do we accept the money from them without putting it up to letting balls buy it or Terman buy it?
And you certainly could, and that could be raised at the public hearing. There'd have to be a plan for selling it. You could put it up for bid, you could have the plan be accept this offer. And then it would go to public hearing with that notice that this is our plan. And then you hear input from a public hearing. And then after that, you could either proceed with that original plan, or you could dispose of the property in some other way.
Would there be the ability for the county to sell it with an easement over top of it that grants everybody rights? Or would we?
You could, I think it's complicated. So you could do that, but the other person would have to accept it. The buyer would have to accept that. And there may be other interest holders that did not recognize that. So let's say we sold our interest to Hope Miller Schultz, then JEB Farms said, no, I'm not gonna recognize your easements because, we own that land, not the county. So there's still a potential conflict no matter what the county does. But yes, we can do that as far as our interest.
And it is my understanding that this offer to buy could be construed as one party looking to get ahead of the other parties in this, because I believe that JEB Farms is also making the same claim that it was never a road. So that will be them getting ahead of the other.
Yes, I think JEB Farms raised the claim that it was never a road. I think that's what instigated our research. And then, sometime after that, this offer came through.
It's at our office as well, with the claims that Adam just said, that JB Farms is claiming that it's their property from comments made in court. And then in February, my understanding is the judge is going to rule on it one way or another. It's a nightmare for our office going out there and figuring out who's trespassing, who's not trespassing, fist fights, yelling, screaming, childish actions. I think maybe just wait till the court case is done. And then look at whoever actually owns it. It's just gonna.
Then you'll go through the appeal process and then get dragged out where you want. Somebody, whoever the decision's gonna be, somebody's not.
I fully agree, but I think getting a judge to make an order, because we're a little bit blind in this too.
So is there a court case pending now as to whether
Yes.
There's,
Do we actually own it or not?
well, no, I mean, that's a side issue, so it's a collateral issue to the actual, case is for a secondary easement 40 feet west of the existing 40 foot easement, or 40 feet east rather of the existing 40 foot easement. But this issue has been raised, so it's possible it's possible, Brandon's correct, the court will rule on this issue as part of trying to figure out the results of the whole case. I mean, I think they'd almost have to, though they may not, but, because you gotta say who you're giving the easement across, is it the county or is it J Farms?
So will we be better off not taking any action on this until that case is?
I think it would be more clear, and the court may say we have no interest in the property, at that point, so.
Is there a time limit on this?
I don't recall, I'm sure it's before trial, but I do not because they gave the advantage otherwise. But I do not see any time limit.
But currently, nobody pays taxes on that, so it's,
I'd have to verify that with the treasurer, but that's what
I believe it's treated for taxation purposes as right of way. Yeah. I
So
mean,
it's
it's,
still our road, even though there's no legal thing showing it's our.
Right.
it's our-
We're treating it as our road.
right.
And we have for 80 years or something.
Yeah, and there are a few other instances like that in the county that were made way before my time, way before their time and. just-
If we treated it as a road for 80 years and taxes haven't been paid on it, how can somebody claim it's theirs?
Because it was never legally platted or added to the roster.
But
But
do we get back taxes then if it's there?
so, I have done some research and there's a prescriptive easement that has been used this way for forever. It's a road, right? But does the county even want to use that? If it was a busy road, yes, we would.
Isn't there kind of a standing rule even for farmers that if there's a fence been there for 100 years, that's the agreed upon
That's the new.
property line and
Yeah.
whether or not it's platted, that's the agreed upon.
You've got to enforce those things, in a court, but yeah, I mean, prescriptive easements are based on that theory of law.
Yeah.
Acquiescence is when two property owners are just like, oh, I guess that's where the
As far as
property
the
line
line
is
is,
for
right.
10 years, and then it is the property line.
Right.
But to enforce that, you've got to get a
Right.
court order. And then the same thing with adverse possession is where one party says, no, the line's here, and the other party says, well, no, it's not. But I'm not gonna do anything to enforce my rights. Then after 10 years, the person who's claiming it has it. Again, they have to go to court.
So you're telling me there's no easy way out of this?
No.
Property.
No, I'm under no delusions that whatever you do on this is gonna.
I don't, this is just a tool by a party to get what they believe is an upper hand in this upcoming case.
I think that's their purpose, yes. Well, I mean, it doesn't really. The only upper hand that it gives them is that the county is knocked out as a potential party, which we've already said we're not gonna be involved anyway. And that they wouldn't have to, overcome that hurdle at trial, and they wouldn't have to worry about dealing with us after the case is over.
I don't think we should do anything before the trial, and I don't think we could sell it to one person without giving the other people opportunity either. So,
I would agree with that, but we hold off until
Wait and see.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable way to proceed, and I will let her know.
okay. Let the Hatfield and McCoys play out.
And please no.
Well, sheriff, they're awful. Down the road.
We're handing it back to you.
I sent it. Very tent there.
Well, don't want to understand this road and then they got an easement, but it's down in a creek bed.
Yeah.
Or something, and then they didn't realize it, and then they're trying to move it a little further and.
There was a mistake made.
Yeah, mistake.
Yeah, the people that say you can't keep on or do anything free or.
Yeah,
So, and parties, yeah. But I mean, this-
Well, they could have made a Missouri crossing for what they've spent on
Oh,
lawyer
yeah.
fees. I mean, I don't understand it.
Agreed.
okay, anything else before I call for adjournment? Motion for adjournment?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you.